Citroën 4 and Skoda 2. We now go from the snow and ice of Sweden in winter to the tropical paradise of Jamaica in summer. This is the Jamaican International Rally, first run in 1991, and it takes in superb scenery of the island. It attracted a number of leading rally drivers, and they included Rob Millen, Britain's Alistair McRae, and they were all going to take on, of course, the man who'd won last year, Chris Issa, who was driving a different car in 1993. Rob Millen was driving the Hyundai, and after practice it seemed the combination to beat. We've not seen much of the Lantra at all in rallying, and so as far as this rally was concerned, it was something of a test case. Millen, with bags of experience, could be the man to watch. For Britain's Alistair McRae, this rally was a chance to make a point. He's driving Lancia instead of his normal Subaru, and wonders what he's doing in '94. Nils Tronland's Opel Astra could also spring a surprise. The local people listening to one of their steel bands watch the teams prepare the cars for the rally. The event continues to attract spectators, which augurs well for the future. First away from the start, the expatriate New Zealander Rob Millen, who's lived in America now for a long time and indeed has American nationality. The Hyundai driver having hopes of victory. Journalist Hideaki Miyoshi's Mitsubishi is next away from the ramp. Miyoshi, known to his friends as Mad Dog, determined to do well. Alistair McRae needs to do well. His plans for '94 yet to be finalised. This could be important. And Nils Tronland with the Opel Astra, unfortunately feeling ill and might not last the distance. He seemed disorientated even as he left the ramp.
There we go.
Out onto the stages. And Rob Millen with the Hyundai going well and setting the pace. The Lantra proving to be very competitive. Millen, of course, is a very experienced driver. He made his name in the past driving for Mazda, achieving success in rallying and on the circuits together with his brother Steve. But although leading, the Hyundai was not going particularly well. That early lead was to fade. The Hyundai was suffering from overheating. And in these conditions, that was to eventually lead to his early retirement from the rally. Meanwhile, Hideaki Miyoshi with the Mitsubishi was going well. He took the lead. And Miyoshi, with a strong car, must have thought the rally was his. In spite of all his experience, however, he was to throw it all away by rolling the car out of the rally comparatively early. A comparative newcomer to international rallying, Alistair McRae was second in the British Rally Series in 1993. He was up to second place in the early stages. The junior member of the McRae clan, brother Colin being tipped for a future world champion, and father Jimmy a past British champion, McRae was to be let down when his Lancia broke its suspension. Nils Tronland with the Opel. He never really had a chance to show his true speed or how competitive the car might have been. The driver, ill at the start, became worse as the rally went on. In the end, his retirement was due to the illness. He visited the hospital and took no further part in the proceedings. A sad end to a brave effort. All these problems between the top drivers left local boy Chris Issa in his veteran Audi Quattro a somewhat surprised leader. He had a gearbox problem and he had a misfire at high revs. In In spite of this, he continued to lead the rally, however. The five-cylinder Quattro has a sound all of its own. It was the car that started the four-wheel drive revolution in Europe. Not a competitive vehicle now in European rallying, it's still a formidable machine when it's allowed to run. In Jamaica, it was very much the car to beat. The end of day one. Service, the Audi's gearbox receives attention. And there were plenty of interested spectators to watch the action. We start day two with David Somerville's Mitsubishi Galant leaving the line. A tough, fast car, ideal for this type of event. Stratham King with the Mitsubishi Eclipse, one of three brothers taking part in the rally. Away from the countdown, he really was throwing it around to considerable effect. A spectator, sensibly masked against the dust, watched Russell Capleton's Galant next along. The locals were having a field day. Angus Gordon with the Mazda 323 four-wheel drive. On to finish second in his class. And the man to beat him was Paul Chong, another Mitsubishi Galant. His local knowledge and determined driving led to an eventual second place, pushing Gordon down to third in spite of all his efforts. The tough Galant really showing its class over here. Issa in the lead with the Audi, but with his problems.
Since the other car that was leading overturned, we've been taking it somewhat easy, as we've had, I think we have a fairly comfortable lead, and we've also had a little problem with the gearbox, so we're basically just trying to finish.
And it was onwards to victory as they did finish, nursing the transmission and keeping their fingers crossed. They didn't have any more problems. The pace of the ex-John Buffon machine proved its point. After the early retirement of the leaders, it was a local walkover. The misfire was gone, and it was to finish with the spoils of victory, going once again to the Audi Quattro. A surprise victory because they changed the car from last year's successful Mitsubishi. But for local boy Chris, it was 2 in a row. The question now has to be, can he make it a hat-trick in 1994? So Chris Issa the winner then, from Paul Chong in second place, Andrew Gordon third, Russell Capleton fourth, and Stratham King in fifth. 3 Mitsubishis in the top 5. The Florida 200 precedes the Daytona 500, an 80-lap event for 4-cylinder subcompact cars.